What's going on, soccer fans? Welcome to the UWS studios. I'm John. This is Megan. Megan, how are you this evening?
Good, thank you. Ready to talk all things UWS. It's going to be a fun one. How are you?
I'm doing well, just dealing with some goalkeeping issues and trying to figure it all out. But hey, what can you do, right? It's U9s. You got to make sure everybody's happy and everybody's playing at the same level. But hey, listen, this is the 6th week of play, Megan, in the UWS. We saw some perfect seasons falter and leaders emerge amid an array of awesome performances across the country. What were some of your takeaways from this week as it related to what you were able to see?
Okay, so the New England division was where it was at for me this weekend. Like you say, there was some drama there that saw the standings change up in that division. So I would say that's where my eyes were drawn to the most. However, Heartland division had action from Wednesday through to Sunday. That was pretty interesting. And then also that West Conference has been catching my eye ever since we saw that upset. So a lot of good soccer. What about you?
Well, I've seen a lot of good soccer, but I want to get our first guest on of the evening, Sarah Dilling, the goalkeeper from Foothills. Sarah, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great. Hey, Sarah, you've had a good run of late with Foothills. I want to go back about 2 weeks ago to talk about playing in Los Angeles. What was it like to come out with a W against the defending champion Santa Clarita Blue Heat?
That was awesome. It was a massive confidence booster for our squad, and just I don't have anything else to say. It was awesome. Yeah, that was great. It was the first time for us going down there and getting 3 points off of Santa Clarita. So yeah, super happy, super proud of the group, and we're still on a bit of a high from it. So looking forward to the next weekend.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you guys prepared going into that game? Obviously, knowing that they are the reigning UWS champions. Is that something you guys discussed, or was it this is just a team in the UWS that we can go up against and we have a solid roster too? Let's not get too worried about the titles.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the fact that they're the reigning champs or anything like that. It was more so being aware that they always do, and they do have some very incredibly strong and gifted players that we need to be aware of. Not necessarily changing how we play because of it, but being aware of who they have on the field and what some of their tendencies might be and stuff like that. So.
You made 11 saves that match and really kept your team in the mix. What was it like facing that, and how did you adjust shot by shot, and what was it like? Was it a confidence booster for each save, or was it something you knew you were capable of?
Definitely something I knew or know that I'm capable of. But that was like one of the funnest games I've played in a long time. And when you're in a game like that, and when you keep having chances like that to make big saves, like you said, your confidence does kind of start to pick up and gain momentum, which definitely did happen for me. But that was just such an unbelievably fun and fast and competitive game to play. Like, yeah, that was awesome.
And how sore were you the day after? Because you were kept extremely busy during that game.
I felt pretty good after. I felt pretty good, but I felt it a little more 2 days later. I think I was feeling it a bit more, but I felt pretty good.
Another challenge this weekend comes to Foothills with Blue Heat returning the favor, coming to your house, as well as FC Arizona. How do you prepare for such an important weekend where there's a lot of potential to perhaps seal the Western Conference?
Yeah, trying to keep our heads level as much as we can and remember that this is just a step. It's a step we need to take. And yeah, approaching it like any other game day, any other game weekend, knowing that they're going to come out guns blazing, ready to go, especially after we took a few points off of them a couple weekends ago. They're going to be ready for it and they're going to be up for it. So physically preparing ourselves through training and load management and stuff as we build up to the weekend. And then also tactically as well, reminding ourselves of some things and then being aware of some adjustments that might be made. And yeah, just keeping our heads in it, staying tight as a group and staying motivated.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as a team going into this weekend with those back-to-back games, and I know we see it a lot in this summer of soccer where teams are playing condensed schedules with maybe one day or even just 24 hours rest in between games. How does Foothills deal with that? What kind of recovery do you guys do in between those games?
Well, a lot of it, since it is a back-to-back, a lot of it is management beforehand. So not overdoing it through training in the week. So we're not too tired going into the first match. And then in between, doing the right things, rest, eat good food, hydrate lots the morning of the next game, and the evening after the first game. And just doing the best things we can for our body. And then the other good thing is that we are at home. So we do have a lot we have more access to more players being at home. So if people do need a little bit of an extra break for the second game, we can pull someone else for that. Yeah, if we need to. So
what's been the process with Lee behind the on the bench? What kind of leader is Lee as it relates to getting you guys prepped and game management?
Tux is awesome. He has a lot of respect from the girls, and that's very evident in the way that they respond to his what he does in training. And he does a really good job of bringing an element of fun into things as well, which really helps build our overall team cohesion. And Tux is a very smart, tactically aware coach who's able to make quick adjustments on the fly. And so we respond really well to that because we feel supported knowing that he knows what's going on and he knows how we need to change when changes do need to be made. So a lot of respect for Tux as a coach and as a leader for sure.
That's awesome. And you kind of talk about having that support from a coach. What about within the squad? How are the relationships between the players? I'm sure that win against Blue Heat really brought you guys together even more.
Yeah, it definitely did. That was a complete team win. Everyone was battling so hard in that, and you could feel how badly every single player wanted that win. And to be able to get that and do that as a team really helped build that overall cohesion. And then Tux also did, and the management of the group also did a really good job of making sure we had a good time while we were in California. So there was a lot of things that we did where we just kind of were able to hang out and have fun together and not worry too much about soccer, but just kind of build those relationships since it is a short season.
That's awesome. I love that.
Sarah, before we let you go, there's a lot of fun stuff happening this weekend before the match and during the match. Do you have any insight into how people can come, and is it free? What's it going to take for people to come in and watch these two awesome matches this weekend?
Yeah, so our first game on Friday night is at Shoaldice Athletic Park. I think it's $15 for adults, and I'm not sure what the charge is for kids. I think if they wear a green top, it's free. And they usually have like a bouncy castle around and stuff for the kids to enjoy. And then our Saturday game is at Sate. It's a little bit of a venue change for us, but that'll be at Sate Field. And I think same thing, $15 for adults. And I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun stuff going on around the field. So it'll be a good weekend.
So for those of you who are attending the game, free entry to all CMSA players wearing their team jersey, by the way. I just got a little note from Tux about that. He had to make sure I knew to plug it for you guys. So if you're in the Foothills region, come make sure you watch this match. It's going to be a good one. Sarah Dillon between the posts, ready to go. Sarah, anything else? No, you probably have training to get ready for, or at least some.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm about to leave for practice right away. So, John, Megan, thank you so much for having me on. This is great, and I appreciate it. And I'm excited for the weekend.
Awesome, Sarah. Good luck this weekend. Have fun. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you later.
All right, cheers.
See you.
So just a little piece of what's happening out west. A lot of craziness as it relates to Blue Heat. Arizona, who played Blue Heat this past weekend and lost 4-2. Look, Blue Heat doesn't want to go away. They're not going to be silenced, and they have a point to prove, I think, going into the weekend out west. But, Megan, let's go ahead and talk about that weekend in the west as it relates to some of the matches.
Yeah, so that FC Arizona Blue Heat game was a pivotal moment in the season for us to see how does Blue Heat respond to that first defeat that we almost weren't expecting to see, I guess. And while they responded, Zoe Burns nudged SC Blue Heat in front with a finish from a cross very early on. But FC Arizona did answer with a goal of their own. They weren't going to go down easy. They are a team that is definitely ready to compete at this top level of the West Conference. And Shaylin McCarty equalized. And then the two sides traded goals once again before halftime, with Iris Rabeau and Katrina Weatherall both scoring from distance. And so you could see how these two teams have very similar talents. They have similar players who are able to drive in with speed, who are also able to strike from range. And then whatever happened at halftime, we always talk about this. There's some coaches out there who can just give a halftime speech. And I always want to be a fly on the wall in that locker room, because in the second half, SC Blue Heat really came alive and were that team that we know and love to watch. And Angela's Escobar got that game-winning goal, and then Giselle Thompson right at the end notched that fourth one, and they came back. Epic game.
Great game. I actually sat down and was watching it, talking to Stephanie while we were watching it. So, you just don't know. It's the summer of soccer. You get people in and people out. The other matchup was Sunday. FC Arizona rebounding with a 3-2 win over Los Angeles Soccer Club. They returned to the winning ways. Another high-scoring affair, obviously. Molly Baker, Shaylin McCarty built a 2-0 lead. Obviously, 2-0 leads are the hardest to hold. And then inside the 20-minute mark, McKenna Dominguez brought one back for Los Angeles before halftime. So 2-1 going into the half. Baker scored her second in the 50th minute, sealing the victory. Ashley Aranda's 77th minute was a consolation goal. But, in the end, LASC is starting to kind of fill their groove, I think, as it relates to the summer of soccer in UWS. And it will only get better as we go. I'm curious to see how they finish the season. But my eyes are really focused on this weekend, and we'll talk about it. Actually, you'll talk about it on the kickoff show, because you got to host again this weekend as I'm in Stanford working at that Barcelona clinic, which will be awesome. I'm excited to be a part of that for coaching this weekend. That'll be fun. But you get to have the wheel again.
Holding down the fort.
Holding down the fort for a little bit of time. So if you think about the standings out west, obviously Foothills still undefeated up in the number 1 spot. Santa Clarita Blue Heat occupying number 2 because of the win over FC Arizona. And now we see FC Arizona and Blue Heat head up to Foothills, which could flip the conference. 2 games with a lot of meaning in it over that 48 hours. That's going to be interesting to see, Megan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Foothills have a very tough weekend coming up. They've got 2 excellent teams, and that back-to-back is really difficult to recover. But, I mean, you heard it here. They have a deep squad. They have access to all the recovery things that they need. So, yeah, those are 2 games that if you're not able to watch in person, you're going to want to tune in on 11 Sports to catch them.
So let's move out to the South Conference, where Austin Elite has kind of held their own in the Southeast or Southwest division. But Athenians, again, another team looking to this was the second installment of, what was it, the Riverwalk rivalry.
Hey, that was good.
I got it. Yeah, there we go. So that was their second win in the derby. Jillian Martinez began the scoring in the 30th minute. Sierra Wanamaker followed just before the first half, and Jade Piper rounded out the 3-0 win for the Athenians. Look, they're starting to hit their stride. My question is should FC Austin Elite be concerned, or should they just continue to do what they do, which has been winning this season so far?
Yeah, I think that, we've spoken to Danny before. I think that his mentality is really to not worry about those other teams and to focus on themselves, take it game by game. And we go out there and we take care of our business, control what we can control. We can't control what the Athenians are going to do. So we just have to focus on ourselves and put on the best performance that we can. Having said that, I do think that those players are going to be feeling somewhat pressured, because every game that they play is a must-win game in order to keep their place at the top of this division. And the Athenians are just waiting for their chance to take it. And both those teams are so good that it just makes it so epic for a fan. But I am sure that both Athenians and FC Austin Elite players are feeling the pressure.
And then not only that, but Wilco beating Luxoria, who has gotten a lot of praise as of late. Wilco goes in and wins 1-0 against Luxoria, but then turns around 2 days later to lose 3-1 to FC Austin Elite. And then Luxoria going back and returning the favor and winning against Central Texas Hornets. There's a lot. This is a conference to keep an eye on because it could get messy.
Yeah, I mean, Luxoria beat Wilco 6-0 last week. And then Wilco turn around 1 week later and beat them 1-0. I think that just sums it up that it is anybody's game, anybody's week. You never know what's going to happen. These games are epic. Then Luxoria loses on Friday and then bounces right back with 7 goals to their name the next day. I mean, yeah, these teams mean business. A lot can happen. And let's not forget that FC Austin Elite did not have a comfortable time against Wilco. That was a close game where they fell behind early on with Caitlin Melton scoring for Wilco. So it took them half a game to realize we've got to switch on. We've got to get these 3 points right now. So, yeah, a lot going on in the Southwest.
I think the Southwest Conference, we talked a little bit about the Heartland Conference being the Pac-12. I think the conference that is the Southwest Conference is looking like the SEC of sorts because, look, you got some incredible talent down there, and it's only going to get better because as the league starts to grow, it's going to allow more talent to be seen. Again, we talked about casting a net. Last year, we talked a lot about that, Megan, and where we can get views of athletes in different parts of the country that we might not be familiar with. And now we're starting to see a lot of that talent coming forward. But FC Austin Elite, 16 points, Athenians right on their heels with the one loss at the beginning of the year. But the goal differential for the Athenians, 19 goals compared to 9 for Austin. Look, if this comes down to the end of the weekend, which it probably will, do we see the Athenians overtaking Austin based on goal differential, and can Austin change that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point to raise because I do feel that from everything that I have seen, the Athenians are more of a dominant attacking side. Austin Elite don't actually go out and put as many goals past. That's just not them. They don't seem to have that like one player who's that goal scorer, anything like that. They're just a really like solid all-round team, getting the results, taking care of business. And there's a couple of other teams like that in the UWS who don't go out there and score these huge goal differentials, but they go out and they take care of business. And at the end of the day, that's what they need to do. But yeah, should they slip up, the Athenians are there with that much bigger goal differential that it's a thing that we have to talk about because it could happen.
The elephant in the room of sorts, but we'll talk more about that. I know you guys will cover you, Kaylor and Katie, covering on the kickoff show this Saturday morning. The other match in the South Conference had the A-Town Derby. I think we can call it the A-Town Derby, unless Panthers or Fire tell us it's something different. We're going to go simple. I don't need a tongue twister. Thank you, Ryan and Coach Leland. Actually, you know what? Hey, Coach Leland got his first win for the Athenians, too. He was on the bench at the end there. Looking a little Ted Lasso-y with the shorts, like he was just coming off vacation in the visor. I was waiting for the khakis to make a play, but Coach Leland did not want to pull out the khakis, I guess. Said it was too humid for khakis, but he had a fisherman shirt on, so that's all good. But, hey, the Panthers 2, the Fire 1 in that A-Town Derby. They landed the first blow in this rivalry of sorts. Megan Welch and substitute Riley Friesen found the score sheet for the victors. Taylor Clark hit back for the Fire. Look, the Fire have been the newbies of the group in that conference, but they have played really strong football down there in the Southeast Conference. What did you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, this game we really previewed it a lot on the kickoff show because it was really important for Atlanta soccer. You know, this is a great opportunity for both these teams to say, look how much talent you have right here, right now. Come out, support. Like, it was such an important moment in the community. And I'm so pleased that this was an epic game that finished 2-1. Both teams getting on the score sheet, like a really close matchup. I do think that the Panthers have the stronger roster. And so I wasn't surprised that the game went to the Panthers. But Atlanta Fire put up an excellent fight. And this is going to be a rivalry for a long time. And I'm excited to see the next one.
Yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye on as we get closer to the end of the season, and I think they have 1 or 2 matches to play with one another. So we'll see this A-Town rivalry, this A-Town derby, and how it goes. Let's move out to the Penn New York division before we introduce our next guest here, who's just finishing training. I just got a text, so our next guest, courtesy of we'll call it the Duke Tig phone line, the video line, I guess is what we'll call it, but. FC Buffalo, FC Berlin. Look, I've been high on FC Berlin because they've not had the results. It is not shown on paper. They are 0-4-1 or 0-4-3. I'm sorry, with a 9-goal differential. But I'm huge on Berlin because they play so physical and they play so hard. They've played 7 matches and their goal differential is -9. You look at other clubs that are new to the UWS, their goal differential is far worse. But they've really held their own, Megan, and I'm quite surprised, but I'm really interested on what the future brings for FC Berlin because I know the ownership group, the leadership group there really has their mindset on a UWS championship in the coming future.
Yeah, me too. I just really feel for FC Berlin because, like you say, they haven't been able to just kind of see a game through. They haven't been able to get that first win, and that sucks because they do deserve it. And they're just going to keep grinding until they get that. And once they get one, I really do see them moving on and soaring and getting one more and one more and one more and really finding their level because, yeah, this Penn New York division is tough. Every team in this Penn New York division is really difficult to beat. And FC Berlin have been an excellent addition to this division.
Now, I will say this. They did slip up the next day. They lost 5-0 to Erie, but Erie's also been a very difficult team. You look at how they've resulted against FC Buffalo. FC Buffalo losing to the Lancers of Rochester, who beat Pittsburgh Hotspur 1-0. Look, the team is solid. They've got a good foundation. Now it's just a matter of how do you recover faster in those back-to-backs, especially during the summer.
I think that this was just a tough weekend for FC Berlin. That's a really tough game on Saturday to play against FC Buffalo. And the score to lose only 1-0 is really good. And then I feel that Erie have kind of got something to prove. You know, they're still unbeaten at this point. They're 1 point behind FC Buffalo. And I think that they had seen that Buffalo had only won 1-0 and were like, this is our time to really make a statement. So I think that also played into this result with FC Berlin being tired, bit more fatigue. They were able to get a bigger win, I guess, with a 5-0 win, really making that statement. And this Erie Buffalo kind of feud that's going on.
They don't like each other.
And I'm not counting out the Lancers either because they are right there too.
The Lancers have definitely had a resurgence. Last year was a hard year for them, to say the least. And this year they've definitely had a resurgence. They're the only ones to beat Buffalo. Let's remember that.
Right.
But we'll see. I think the big thing is Erie doesn't like Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't like Erie. So I'm waiting for Erie to say anything you can do, I can do better. And this past weekend was that where they, you know, I think I'm excited to see what happens in the return of that derby there. But hey, FC Berlin, if you're listening, shoot us a DM. Let's get you on next week. Let's talk a little bit FC Berlin soccer in the UWS next week on the recap show. Hey, let's move up. Shocker, the Mutiny lost. Scorpions, who should have no business being in Massachusetts, if you ask Kaylor. 3, Mutiny 1. Megan, take us through it.
Okay, so New England Mutiny went into this game 5-0, top of the division, one of few teams left in the UWS with that perfect record. And Scorpions SC, they came up with that huge performance and just snapped that win streak. And boy, was it epic. So these two teams played a scoreless first half, according to the referees. But if you ask a Mutiny fan or a player, There will say that they should have been a goal up because Riley Mutton threaded a lovely ball through to her teammate, and the referee called Hope Santinello offside.
There's no VAR in UWS.
There is no VAR in UWS, but there is social media, and the Mutiny have posted this goal that was called offside onto their Instagram, captioning it, things that make you go,
Oh, we
And
must
so I
find
thought it
this.
was interesting. Yeah. So Jonathan, you pull that up because I
we're
know
pulling
that
it.
you're like, honestly, I don't know whether it was offside or not because from my perspective, that's a very close call because she is right there with the defender. You can't tell from the angle of the camera whether it was or not, but all I know is it's a very close call. So anyways, they go in at halftime 0-0.
Keep going. Keep going. I'm looking for the video. I need to find this now. We need to make sure this needs to be seen to the people. We'll let them be the judge of this. Was it a goal? We could actually have a poll on this too. Ooh, I like it.
We could. So I'll finish the recap, then we'll go back to the should it have been 1-0 at halftime. But according to the referees, it's 0-0. And so the second half was really where this action happened. Lauren Bonavita got the scoring underway, calmly placing a shot into the far right corner for her third goal of the season. But New England Mutiny continued to battle, and they were rewarded with the equalizer with 30 minutes remaining. So the Mutiny scored from a corner that sailed into the box. Mutton headed it towards goal, and then Tony Domingos totally changed the direction of the ball, throwing off the goalkeeper, making it 1-1. Everything we love to see, game on. Emily McCormick gave her side the lead once again after a really nice bit of play by the Scorpions at the top of the penalty box. McCormick took a shot and it deflected off a Mutiny player and went into the back of the net. And then Bonavita secured all 3 points with her second goal of the day. This time she received the ball short from a corner, drove into the box, and just struck past the Mutiny goalkeeper, kind of catching everybody off guard. We talk about it all the time. Set pieces are key. And Scorpions SC with the upset 3-1 victory over the Mutiny.
That's a huge result there for Scorpions. Again, we talk about not having Scorpions in Massachusetts, so how can you have a team named the Scorpions? But we'll leave that to Kaylor to argue with everybody. But that weekend in general was all about the Scorpions. I don't want to take anything away from them. It's taking down the big dog. CT Fusion on the right side of a win, 4-0. Scorpions SC, again, back-to-back matches this weekend, won 2-1 against the Albany Rush, and now lead that division because of that one win against Mutiny. So we'll see what happens on that return leg. But before we get any further, I want to bring in our guest. Addie is going to join us. She is a Lancaster Inferno defender. Addie, how goes it this evening?
Hi, it's going well. How are you guys?
Good. So you are one of the older players for Lancaster Inferno, playing with them since 2019.
I don't like that word very much, but
okay.
We have more mature or experience.
More experienced, mature individual. Okay, we'll go there. So Addie, I've been hard on the club because look, you guys were not conceding goals, and all of a sudden there seems to be kind of there's been some conceding that's going on. But how is this season going so far for Lancaster compared to what some of the expectations were of the club?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always set our expectations pretty high. We're a team that makes the national championship, and that's pretty much our goal every season. So as far as this season's going, I mean, I think we're off to a great start. We have a couple games left in the regular season, and our goal is obviously to win out and go undefeated. I think in the beginning of the season, we were not scoring as many goals, and that has also changed. So we're also scoring a lot more now. We're getting a lot more people involved. So things are going well.
So you have a big rivalry, it seems like. Well, at least I'm calling a rivalry with Copper Mine, because Copper Mine's on your guys' heels as it relates to like anything. We just talked about this. Anything you can do, I can do better kind of approach. But what's it been like to play in this division, and how competitive is it from what we are potentially not seeing?
Yeah, I mean, the UWS is always really competitive. They've obviously added a couple teams, so we've never actually played Coppermine before, but as they're undefeated and we are as well, that's obviously going to be the end of the season match to watch. We played them twice in a row as the last two games, so it's kind of up in the air, and we'll have to see.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yep.
Definitely will. And so, like, even though you don't play them until the end of the season, since Coppermine have come in and they've started really dominating in this division, just like you guys have been doing, is that something that the team talks about, or are you just focusing on yourselves?
I mean, I'd say we're mostly just focused on ourselves and one game at a time. If you start thinking too far ahead, you get unfocused on the game in front of you. So it's honestly one game at a time. And we're honestly just enjoying playing with each other. It's kind of a break from our schools, and we just get a new environment, new players, and we really mesh really well. So.
Speaking of new schools, you got a 5th year, and you're getting away from the snowy winters to go to the surf of San Diego. What's that going to be like for you?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm a little bit nervous, just being that far from home, but I'm more so just excited to get a new experience. Never been really to the West Coast that much, so it's going to be a new scenery for sure.
What excites you the most about this journey?
I guess for me, it's stepping out of my comfort zone. I went to Maryland, just graduated from Maryland, so I've always been like close to home. That was a 2-hour drive from here. My parents were at every game. So it's honestly just me being independent and going and do my own thing and seeing how I can grow and into the person that I want to be.
That's awesome. And this is a topic that I'm a host of Our Cup of Tea, and we kind of talk about a lot, is how does the UWS prepare us going back into college seasons? So what's kind of your take on that? How important was it to ensure that you were playing for a summer team this year?
Yeah, so honestly, every summer that I've been in college, I've wanted to play on Inferno. It helps most with fitness, being game ready. Game fitness is a whole different kind of fitness than just going out and running your fitness packet. So you can run your fitness packet all day long. If you're not playing games, it's just not the same. So getting those touches in, the real game feel will really lead you into preseason and set you up for success, honestly.
What's it like playing for Coach Smith? Coach Smith has been around. He's seen the game in different levels and at different parts. But what's it like playing for him and having him on the sideline to, lead you guys on this journey of potentially winning the conference?
Yeah, we love Rob. He's a great guy. He's a great person in general, and he's a great coach. I think his experience allows us all to have a great amount of respect for him. So he allows us to bounce things off of him, and he bounces stuff off of us. So it's more of a mutual relationship, which is something that I really care about, especially because we all come from different backgrounds and different playing experiences. So he's a great person to have on our side.
Well, Addie, go ahead, Megan.
No, I just wanted to say that's awesome. I mean, the player-coach relationship is so important, and to have a leader that's supportive of all of the players is really crucial. And we really appreciate when we have these high-quality, personable coaches, and that's what the UWS stands for. So it's really awesome to hear that from a player.
Yeah.
Well, Addie, we know you just got done with training, and it's probably time for bed. You got another set of things to get ready for tomorrow and a big weekend of soccer to prep for. We really appreciate you giving us the time and the opportunity to talk, and hopefully we'll see you in July at the National Championship.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Addie. Appreciate it. All right, Addie joining us live. Key cog as a relatively, I'm not going to say old-timer, as a essential piece of Lancaster Inferno. I think that's a better way to put it.
Sometimes we used veteran when we were describing the experienced players, but we got some negative feedback from that when we were calling seniors and the grad like 5th years veterans. So yeah, experienced and mature is what I'm going for now.
Maturation process is huge. But listen, you can't deny this. FC Copa, by the way, Roberto, I know you're watching. You told me you'd come on the show when you guys won. You did win this past weekend, so we're still waiting for that return favor here on UWS. But listen, New Jersey Copa on the tally sheet, the right side of a tally sheet, Megan, 2-1 win this past weekend on Friday against Keystone FC. Their first, which is nice. Sydney Cummings, the veteran who has been with the club for a while, also about to go on international duty, scored the goal there, which is awesome. And I think that's huge to have that opportunity. NJ, New Jersey, Copa FC getting on the scoreboard. But listen, I'm not going away from Coppermine United. They won again, 2-1 on the road against Paisley Athletic. An own goal allowed them to go ahead in the 25th minute. 10 minutes later, Paisley responds with Victoria Keeley. Rebound opportunity in the second half. Bethany Harford's long drive from range found the way to the net, and the away side walks with not 1, not 2, but 3 points. A good opportunity there for Coppermine to continue the winning ways. Lancaster Inferno 5, Keystone FC 1, who just lost to New Jersey Copa the day before. So again, talking about those back-to-backs being kind of a problem, Megan, do you think we see kind of in the scheduling going forward that maybe we take away the back-to-backs?
Yeah, I think so. I think unless these teams have deep enough rosters that they feel comfortable doing it, I think we need to maybe add in more of those midweek games so we can increase that recovery. Because you look at somebody like Keystone, who is having a really condensed schedule. They're also adjusting to the UWS level, and then you throw them in with back-to-back games, and you think, you're not setting yourself up for success. And we want to see these teams succeed. We want to see these teams have competitive games, and those back-to-back games are just brutal on the body.
Well, we got to talk to those operations guys and make sure they change that, because if they don't change it, man, I wonder who we have to talk about that. But we'll figure it out, right? Where's Chris when we need him? Chris, you got to get on the line. We got to talk about this. So listen, Paisley Athletic, a midweek game on a Wednesday. So they played Wednesday, and then they played Paisley Athletic. We're talking about, they played Wednesday, and then they played Friday. So they didn't have much of a back-to-back, but it's still kind of that condensed match. I'd like to see maybe a Wednesday, Sunday if you're playing back-to-back, or at least a Wednesday, Saturday, get that extra day of rest. But again, it's a league where we're kind of having to go with what is available, and if that's what's available, these quick turnaround matches, I guess that's what we get, Megan. But we'll see as we continue next year with UWS and how maybe we can make improvements going forward. We talked about creating conferences in the Eastern Conference. They listened. Now we have conferences, but it's still a lot. There's still a lot to learn, a lot to grow from, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And you look at the travel arrangements, it depends on, financial support. Sometimes you need to play back-to-back games because you can only travel to one area once a season. So there's definitely limits that I'm sure that we can't even consider because we don't know about it. But, you've got random holidays thrown in like 4th of July and stuff. Yep. So, people need these breaks because of other extenuating circumstances and holidays. And so that changes schedules to make them even more condensed. But at the end of the day, all the soccer is great. So I'm not complaining there.
I just realized I left my back door open, and every once in a while there's this giant hippopotamus of a bulldog walking back and forth with like a toy or something. Thanks, Kong. Appreciate it. Hey, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the Midwest Division. St. Louis Scott Gallagher. Look, they've found a light. They now lead the division because of a tie they had this weekend. Lead us into that idea of what St. Louis Scott Gallagher's got going on for them.
Yeah, so they had a very, very busy schedule this week. So they played a midweek match on Thursday against RBFC Elite, where they won 5-0. Erin Connolly finished the game with a hat trick and an assist, and then Katie Huck and Izzy Patterson were also amongst the scoring. So Thursday, they played. Then Friday, they played again against Illinois Premier, and this time it's a result that we touched upon in the kickoff show, and I don't know that we need to give it much more time, but let's just say they won comfortably. They also had a player, Aubrey Mister, who took advantage of their attacking opportunities within this game and has now put herself tied for top goal scorer in the UWS. So congrats to her, to take those opportunities.
Scored 4, assisted on 4.
I think she scored 6.
Oh, she scored 6?
I think she scored 6. She definitely scored at least a hat trick. That's for sure.
Oh, boy.
Potentially 2 hat tricks.
Uh-oh.
So they had kind of a busy 2 days where they were amongst the goals a lot. And then came Saturday, their third straight day of playing. And this time it was no easy match as they took on Chicago Mustangs, who are an epic team. They were sitting at 4-0, top of the conference. Scott Gallagher took it to them. It was an epic game that finished tied at 1-1. So this game started and Scott Gallagher literally took a shot within like the first minute. They kind of created a bit of space on that right wing and a player just shot from distance. And I thought to myself, okay, they're here to win it. Like, they're going to take any opportunity that they can. But really the first 10 minutes was mainly dominated by the Mustangs. They kind of dictated it. But in the 11th minute, Scott Gallagher had a corner. And did you see this? Number 23 headed it home and the goal was not awarded. And I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know why it was not a goal. Another one of those things you have to see to not believe that it happened. Right? Like, I'm just waiting for them to post with the same caption. I'm not sure what happened there. But just a minute later, Erin Connolly found herself through on goal and executed Scott Gallagher's game plan to perfection to put her side up 1-0 in the 12th minute. But then just before halftime, the Mustangs had a really beautiful spell of possession, just moving the ball from side to side, waiting for that gap, and they found it. They found the gap in that St. Louis Scott Gallagher defense and capitalized, made it 1-1. Second half was just a back-to-back epic battle. Nobody was able to find that all-important game-winning goal, so 1 point apiece. Yeah, and if you go back to the beginning of the season when St. Louis Scott Gallagher lost to Chicago Mustangs, they learned a lot from what they saw, and they've been applying it to every match since. And so that's why you've seen this I'm not going to call it a resurgence, but you've seen them keep this standard of play at a high level. I think they've done an excellent job of maintaining their idea. And then they keep saying, "Hey, look, we're gonna see you again, and we're gonna be ready. We're gonna be ready to play and play against the best." And we saw that here. If you look at the standings, look, St. Louis Scott Gallagher 16 points, Chicago Mustangs 13 points with a game in hand, and the goal differential that at one point was -20 now is 37-38. In favor of the Mustangs by 1 goal. So there's a lot changing in that Midwest division, Megan. Yeah, it really is. In just 1 week of UWS play, we saw St. Louis Scott Gallagher move up to first place. Mustangs are still right there, though. And I think it's actually 2 games that they have in hand. So they are definitely not done. There's a lot more to prove in this division. And let's just point out that St. Louis Scott Gallagher scored a total of 26 goals this week to put that goal differential back up and back where it needs to be, although it needs to be slightly higher because Mustangs have been putting them away. But yeah, the goal differential in this division is a little bit scary, if you ask me. Just a little bit. I mean, I don't know how you maintain focus with that matchup, but again, at the end of the day, both teams will take it. St. Louis Scott Gallagher and Chicago Mustangs, neither side plays again against one another. In fact, Friday, July 1st is the last matchup for Chicago Mustangs, and St. Louis Scott Gallagher actually ends their season tomorrow. Or no, Thursday, sorry. I'm a couple days ahead. So they'll finish the season against Illinois Premier, 6 p.m. Thursday. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting down the stretch as Chicago Mustangs has 3 matches to finish out the season for them. So we'll see. Hopefully they can figure out a way. I'm pretty confident looking at the schedule that they're going to win the division. But at least Scott Gallagher gave them a ride gave them a run for their money on that one. Yeah, and I mean, let's not count out Indiana Union, who have also kind of just been like at that mid-range. This is probably not the best division for them to be in, I guess. They kind of haven't really been able to get as much out of the season as maybe they wanted to, but they're still fighting really hard. They lost twice to St. Louis Scott Gallagher, but it was really good games. And they've lost to the Mustangs once, but they've also made statements this past weekend, putting 11 goals past RBFC. And this is a team that has competed in the UWS before. Back in 2019, they actually finished as the Midwest Conference champions. So I kind of feel that now they've got this feel of what the UWS Midwest division looks like in 2022, that they're going to be really hungry when they come back next year to make a statement, to say, we've adjusted to this level. We've made the little tweaks that we need to, and we're back better than ever. So I am also really excited to see Indiana Union.
Well, let's talk about the Pac-12 conference of the UWS, which is the Heartland Division. Listen, 6 points separates 5 teams. Goal differential, a little different. 10 for Wichita, 10 for Courage, 9 for Gretna, 2 for Sporting Nebraska, -7 for Side FC. But again, 6 points between those 5 teams. Sporting Nebraska, 3-2-1. They still have a chance, Megan. Don't tempt me with a good time. But I think Sporting Nebraska can turn it around. They're 3 points out of first against Wichita and Courage, both sitting at 4-1-1. Gretna, 3-2-1. Sporting Nebraska, 3-2-1. What is your take on this chaos that's going to happen here in the Heartland Division?
I don't know if I can cope with the Heartland Division. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy. You see a 0-0 draw and you think, like, what was that? But I tell you what that was between Gretna Elite and KC Courage. That was a defensive masterclass. You're denying 2 of the great attackers in the UWS right now. Ariana Mondiri and Courtney Carson have been so quality this season. And for that game to end in a 0-0 draw just shows you that these are some really, really good teams who know how to execute a tactical game plan. And I want to give a huge shout out to Sydney Casalia, who had an outstanding game in goal for Gretna. She finished with 10 crucial saves to keep that game 0-0. And that result has really kept this Heartland Division super interesting. Sporting Nebraska and FC Wichita drawing in the midweek before that Gretna Elite and KC Courage game, I feel like also lighted something to show these teams that every single game is so important. And yeah, this division is crazy. And I totally agree with you that you can't count Sporting Nebraska out. However, the fact that they only have a 2-goal difference is what makes it sort of a tough one for them, because even if they can get some results and claw the points to be a little bit closer, can they get the goals to back it up?
Here's my question. One of the scores wasn't reported, which was a 2-1 win. Sporting Nebraska defeated Side FC. It's not in the details. There is no final on Saturday, June 18th, as it relates to that match. Has that match been claimed into the standings? And if not, you know what that means? We got 3 teams tied at top.
Yeah, that is very, very interesting, because I don't think it has been included.
Ooh, so we got some drama.
That is drama. I'm just looking at this division thinking,
who wants it? Who wants to win it?
I mean, FC Wichita, they started the season so solid, but this is like the one division where it's kind of like, it doesn't matter how you started, because everybody is just so competitive that even getting off to a great 3-0 start has kind of slipped away from you. And now you're sitting at 4-1-1. And, you know, these games are so close. I mean, that game between Sporting Nebraska and FC Wichita was epic. It was like, we need 3 points, but we can't get 3 points from both teams.
A nail biter for sure. And think about this. Wichita plays the Courage Saturday. Ooh, that's a big, important matchup for both teams. And they don't play each other. And that is Wichita. Wichita will play Arkansas. And then the Comets of Arkansas play the Courage on June 30th. Wichita ends July 2nd in Arkansas. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot to digest heading into that last weekend of soccer during this summer of soccer, Megan.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, these players are going to be feeling the pressure, but also thriving under that pressure. The
Absolutely.
opportunity to play in these competitive games where there is a championship on the line. This is not just a summer league where you get to play a few games and get ready for your college season. This is so much more. This is epic. Like, there is people across the country and even across the world. You know, you've got Canadian fans watching. I know a lot of English people who also watch because I'm constantly promoting it. There's so much going on in the UWS. The quality of these players is so high that this is just so exciting.
Promoting it unlike Watford. Just saying. I know I'll probably get some flack for that. But
the Watford jersey will be out by the end of the summer of soccer.
You said it was gonna be out last week. You said last week it was gonna be out this week. I haven't seen it. It's just blank. But I can't speak very much. My club in England has not signed anybody, and everybody's in panic mode because everybody wants Frankie de Jong, and Frankie de Jong doesn't want to go to Manchester United. Just saying. Hey, listen, let's go out to the Great Lakes Division. Corktown has solidified itself. It's got 15 points out of a possible 15 with just a few matches left. One of those matches against Nationals, who's had a really good representation in year one in UWS. 15 goal differential, 10 points, 3-1-1. But the club that I really want to talk about is the Capital City. I think they've done a really good job this season, minus the results on the pitch. They've done a really good job of kind of holding that Lansing concept and really drawing and keeping the spirit of soccer alive in that area, in that region. And I'm excited for what the future holds for them if they find a way to start getting the results on the pitch. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was so pleased when this whole came out about Cap City and what they were going to do, because when we lost Lansing, it was a really big loss to that whole community, and soccer in that area is not only really good for the community, it's also really high level, producing some really big players. So I completely agree with you there. And they had a really good game against Muskegon Risers. Maddie O'Farrell came up huge for them. She played phenomenally, scoring the opening goal in the 12th minute and then securing the 3 points in added time where she notched a second goal. And I do want to also give credit to where credit's due for Muskegon in this game too. This was kind of like a little bit of a revival for them. They were playing strong. They put up a solid fight for the full 90 minutes. And so I'm really hoping that we can see them build upon that performance too and propel for their future as well.
Yeah, and it's a bright future, hopefully, and we continue to see everybody moving in the right direction as the summer of soccer starts to kind of wind down. It's amazing how fast it's gone. We're already in week 6 of the summer of soccer, and I feel like we haven't even really started yet.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it goes. And I feel like as players, you have to just remember to take in every moment and take in every opportunity that you get on the pitch, because it does fly by. And that's also why we talk about how crucial these results are, because you miss 3 points. Like, it's huge because it's such a short season. There's no 40 games for you to play and make it up the next month or the month after that. Like, this is it. Now is crunch time. You have to be performing. And so that's why we've seen it be difficult for some of these new teams coming in, because there's no adjustment period. It's right in, go hard or go home. And it's epic to watch. And the quality from each team has been so high. And yeah, I'm loving every second, and I don't want it to end.
Well, speaking of end, you've got a kickoff show this weekend. What's in store for the kickoff show this upcoming weekend?
Well, I got some feedback from some people that Shock or No Shock was a really fun addition. So we'll be recapping those midweek matches with our new Shock or No Shock as to whether the results were a shock or not. Haha, can you guess from the title? We're also going to be previewing some really epic games. We've discussed a little bit about those Foothills games. We've got KC Courage and FC Wichita that we'll be covering. And come over and join us. Ask any questions that you have, anything you want us to cover. We will be there to talk it all.
Jake had a good question as we leave the night. Would the UWS All-Star team play NWSL clubs in a friendly if it were possible? We don't want to embarrass anybody, but hey, if we have to, I mean, we'll go in and play some clubs. We'll make it happen. I'm sure we could get 18 to 20 women who will be ready to show NWSL what they're capable of for their future opportunities.
That would be so epic. I love that idea, and I really want to make that happen because a UWS All-Star team, firstly, making that decision is going to be extremely difficult. But secondly, the talent that will be in that squad will 100% be able to compete, if not beat, a NWSL team.
You know, we do have a lot of players who play in the NWSL. What if we take former alums of UWS and put them against a club at the NWSL level? I'm pretty sure we could beat them at that point too. I'm just saying. I'm not biased or anything. But hey, Jake, since you're in Houston and you're a Dash fan, maybe you can make this happen. You have our contact number. You know how to get a hold of us. Let's make it happen. I like that idea. Well, hey, listen, for our sponsors, 11 Select, Duke Tig, VO, NL Tactical Boards, Impact Canopy, and our friends at Fearless and Capable, we say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us this Tuesday evening as we get you prepped for the weekend with the kickoff show, but remind you we had a weekend of soccer with Matchday 6 in the UWS. So until Saturday with Megan, Kaylor, and Katie, have a good night, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us.
I'm a part of UWS because of the opportunity it provides women.
Because it provided me the competition and exposure I needed to get to where I am today.
Because financial transparency is important to me.
Because at its core and within its leadership, it is truly dedicated to the promotion of the women's game.
Because of the competitive pathway it provides female players and coaches.
Because it expands the pathway of our club and offers more opportunities for players to develop.
Because I too support women in sports.
Because of the people. I love competing at a high level with some awesome teammates and getting to compete against people around the country.
Because it provides female athletes with a much needed platform to remain in the game in a professional setting.
Because it's the best summer league in the whole country. There's no question about it.
Because of the commitment to diversity for the players, coaches, and administrators of the UWS.
Because I like the opportunity to compete at such a high level and the advancement of the women's game.
I am a part of UWS because I believe in its vision and its leadership.